it's Biddy Penny. I cannot wait to share this journal with you guys. Well, it's not really a journal, it's a mini album to hold my A2 cards from the Uvalde card drive. So I recorded the process of me finishing this album here for you guys, and I just can't wait to share it. So let's get into it. Okay, you guys, so I made the cover of this album in a live the other day, a couple of days ago. And I had thought I would use these strings down the middle to put my cards in, but as I started working with it, I just wasn't going to be able to store enough cards with the waterfall design. And so then I decided maybe I'll do a box design of some sort. And I am so thankful for the sizes that I chose. And you know, if you were in the live, then you know it was all on a whim. I did not have a plan or a grand scheme. I just kind of had a need because I want to store all the thank you cards you guys sent me and letters from the Uvalde card drive. All right, so then I started conceptualizing how this album can hold the most amount of cards. And the majority of my cards were all A2. So I just kind of, without a template or anything, I just started creating a double box layout. So the front of the album will have 2 boxes and the back of the album will have 2 boxes. And what you see me doing right now are cutting out the edges. Okay, so this spine was like, let me think about it. I think it was about 3.5 inches, this wide, thick spine of my mini album. So I made my boxes 1.5 inches tall, so it would be 3 inches tall, but it would give me a little space. I didn't want it to be alligator mouth. So I cut out 4 of these pockets and 2 sides for each one. And when I'm mass producing or I'm working in this way, I like to just gather all my supplies together. Okay, my pockets I think are like 1.5 inches tall. No, they're 2 inches tall. Sorry, 2 inches tall, 6 inches wide. And so I cut these pieces of paper out. These are 3 by 12. And I'm just going to kind of walk you through here real quick how I made my pockets. Now, for all of you who are experienced in mini albums, you're probably going to be like, Biddy Penny, you're doing it all wrong. There's no bottom to your pocket. What are you doing? Because kind of this is a sleeve, the way I'm constructing it right now. Now I'm going to show you 2 different ways to apply your tape. This way is where the way I've always done it before is where I just kind of tear off pieces and place them on the cardstock. There is a better way, and that's what this journal taught me, and that's what I think is brilliant about jumping into something and just keep crafting, because you learn as you go. You learn from your own experience with things, and sometimes much better than if I try to tell you. Anyway, so this is one way to do it, where I only put tape on one side and I taped it all down. There was a much more efficient way, which luckily I figured out on the second pocket. This one, I took the tape to the pocket, and because this is a medium weight chipboard, I just pulled the pocket up, the board up against the tape, and it tore it off easily. It got it all the right length, and I did both sides. So I put tape on both sides of these pieces so that I won't have to deal with tape on bigger pieces of cardstock. So that was just a little tip. I really wanted to leave that in there for you guys. And now I'm just kind of, again, making this up. And I'm thinking, okay, I kind of need some gussets here a little bit. Not necessarily a gusset, but I don't even know what you call it. I've still got to learn a lot when it comes to mini albums. But I need to cut out these little pieces so I can fold like this. That's what I know it's called. You guys know I'm a hobbyist, right? Anyways, and then I had left these long flaps on because that's what's going to adhere this whole thing to my album. So right now I'm just folding everything over and getting my edges attached, and then I had made these side pieces that are going to attach to my album like twice as long as I knew that they needed to be, because I wanted to double them up. So this is 65-pound cardstock from Hobby Lobby. It's the 12 by 12. I'm so glad I bought it. Letty, I'm glad I bought this paper. Okay, so I wanted to double it just to make it more secure. So now I'm cleaning up all the edges and I'm folding it over, and I used some tape, but I'm going to tell you guys something. I am just such a glue girl. When it comes to my glue, and especially my Lineco bookbinding glue, I just don't ever have to worry about that glue. Like once you use that glue, there is just no turning back. And I love it because in Texas, in Central Texas where I live, it's so humid that otherwise things fall apart. Okay, now here I was just using a scrap because you know me, and I didn't think you would see it. And honestly, you don't see much of it, but on the others, I'm glad I didn't use scraps. I used a matching paper though, and just because you see a little bit of it by the way I finished my boxes. All right, you guys. So here I am measuring my album. So my album was 8.5, just a hair over 8.5 tall, which is perfect for A2 cards, right? Because I made it like 6.5 wide. So I am going to be able to put 4 boxes, 2 on each side of this cover to store my A2 cards. And I just really love this because each card was sent to me individually. Each one means so much to me. And I want to be able to flip through them like cards. You know, originally when the card drive was still going on and my head was just busy, I was thinking a scrapbook. But then when I picked up a scrapbook, I was like, no, I don't want to put it in plastic sleeves. I don't want to glue it down. Like, I want these cards to kind of remain in their true state. But I don't want to just shove them in a cardboard box and store them away because I know that I'll be less likely to go back and pull them out. All right, so here we are, you guys. I've got all 4 of my pockets or boxes adhered to my front and back cover. Look how beautiful this is coming together. Okay, now I'm cutting this down to 6 by 12. Okay, and I'm going to use all of this cardstock. So this is a 12 by 12 sheet, and I'm going to use it all. And I am going to fold this in half. So you saw me score it. I'm going to fold it in half, and then I'm going to score it. This band is going to act like a belly band to hold everything into my box. And that's what I was saying earlier. Like if you're, experienced, you were probably like, that's not a box, Betty Penny, it's all going to fall out. Well, I had the idea to create this band. So now I'm just scoring it. I will leave the measurements down in the description box below, but chances are you're going to make this album your own size, your own way. I'm hoping to inspire you. The cardstock I'm using today, the black cardstock, as I said before, was from Hobby Lobby Paper Studio, I think is what it's called. It was 12 by 12. I got it on sale when I was shopping with my friend Letty. And then this other like pattern paper is from Michael's. It was a hot buy for $5. So that's the paper source that I'm using today. All right, so back to the drawing board here, back to the scoring board here. I'm going to score the remaining scores that I needed. And I'm basically just making sure that this is going to fold nicely, increasing it. Probably if you're going to make it, burnish your folds a little better than I did, but it totally worked for me. All right, so what I have to do is I have to glue this middle part right? Because I want it to just be one solid piece. I chose to score it first. And now I'm just checking my numbers again, and I'm actually going to write them down so I can make 4 of them. And what I chose to do is do 2 coordinating papers for the top and 2 coordinating for the bottom. I don't know. That's how my brain liked it, so that's what I did. And now for construction, I'm going to glue the back and the part that touches that box. So this is the back, and that is just going to be glued down. I tried to do it midway, and I did 3 inches because I just didn't want these cards like slipping and sliding, and I knew that some of the cards that you all lovely people sent me were smaller than A2. So that's why I chose a 3-inch strip. Plus I could easily get 2 from one 12 by 12 sheet of paper without scraps, because that's a beautiful thing, right? So then I had to glue that part to the box, and now this top part I'm going to Velcro on. Okay, so here we go again, just gluing the back down. Remember, these are glued together already, so they're already dried and they're already like one just thick sheet of paper before I get to this process. And now I'm just burnishing it down. Okay, and I'm only going to add glue to this little piece up here. It's a 1.5-inch strip. Okay, because that's what connects it and kind of seals this into a box now. The top parts, I'm actually going to use Velcro. I had considered using magnets, but I was worried about the weight of the cards and the sheer weight of the album, and I wanted to make sure something would stick. Now for the other end, you can see I'm kind of reversing things here. So I'm still going to glue down the back. That part doesn't change. But when I go to glue this down, just look, I'm going to actually glue down the long part, and the 1.5-inch part is going to stay loose. So to get my cards out, I wanted to make sure that it was easy. And so I had to make the boxes open at the edge of the album and not the middle of the album, right? So right now I'm just burnishing my folds a little more, making sure it's even with the edge of the book. This book isn't perfect, but it was my first one, and I was just kind of making it up as I went along. I learned a whole lot from making this mini album, and overall I'm really pleased with it. Pleased as punch, isn't that what they say? I hope that by sharing this, that you will look at your supplies in a new way and try and embark on new projects. It really is rewarding. I'm not saying become a mini album maker and ditch cards. I'm saying if you want to make yourself a mini album, but you're a card maker, go for it. Give it a try. You could always try it with inexpensive paper first and figure it out. There's a lot of wonderful people here on YouTube who can teach you about making mini albums. One of my favorites is Debbie at Project 39 Mini Albums. I also really love Rosa Kelly. And one thing that I mentioned in my live when I was building the cover of this mini album is that I just subscribed to a monthly subscription to Your Memory Books because I really want to learn this art, and I figured that could be my masterclass. Have y'all ever heard, like, when you put your money into something, you value it more and you potentially could invest yourself more? So I decided I'm not subscribed to a whole bunch of kits like I used to be, that I could subscribe and learn this craft. And so I'm very excited about it, you guys. And you'll be learning about it too, because I'll be sharing it here on my channel. This channel is for me to share my journey with you. And my journey is a wild and winding one. Okay, so now I've got my fancy Dollar Tree Velcro that I love. And what I do is I go ahead and stick the 2 pieces that go together. I guess, air quotes, male and female part Velcros together. before I stick them down, and then I don't ever have to worry about aligning them. They just line up perfectly because they're already stuck together. And you know that you haven't mixed matched parts, and everything is going to work. So that's what I do. And I'm just adding my Velcro, and everything is feeling good, looking good. I did decide to reinforce the edges of these papers. I brought in some Tim Holtz metallic paper in this beautiful foiled purple color. And I'm just adding that to those four, just adding a little more oomph, to those edges. And then I wanted to write just a little snippet about what this album's for, honoring the way that you all honored me when you sent in your cards for the Uvalde card drive. It touched my heart. It motivated me and my family because I would read your cards aloud. And as we sorted cards, this is from Letty. She gave this to me when she gave me 500 cards for the card drive. And I wanted to use, it's an ephemera folder that is brilliant, and I'd love to make one of these. And I wanted to use some of this ephemera in here, and so I grabbed 2 pieces. Isn't this great? I just love this thing. This would be such a fun project. You guys had this little ephemera album. If you have like a bunch of card kits and you just want to use them up, and they came with ephemera, and maybe they came with cut-aparts or paper, this would be a fun project, and you have crafty friends in your real life, to send them something like this. Such a fun way to use your stash and bless others, right? I love it. I love it so much. There you go. Party planner papery. That's Letty. All right. So I found my pieces. This one had a date. Now I did the date that I made this journal. I just put July of 2022. And then I grabbed another piece and wrote on it as well. Again, just trying to really capture the beauty of what this mini album is holding. And so much beauty indeed. It's just spectacular, you guys, your kindness. I cannot wait to tell you. So on Friday, I'm delivering the cards to Uvalde with my family, and I'm going to record it for you guys. I'm going to share it with you guys. I just can't wait to tell you all the good news. I almost cried yesterday. There's so much good news around the card drive. So more about that later. This was the final thing. I kind of like to do my covers last for 2 reasons. Sometimes you start a project and it takes on a life of its own. And if you've done your cover first, it may not match. You may have gone a whole nother direction by the time you get to your cover. And this really speaks to junk journaling. But then the cover doesn't really coordinate. And the other reason I like to do it last is because sometimes it can get dirty. An inky desk or something. And so I like to just do it last, keep it clean. This is how the journal turned out, you guys. It's not a journal. It's a mini album storage box for A2 cards. Oh my gosh. I will give you guys a walkthrough of all of the cards very soon. But I wanted to just keep this video focused on building this box. So if you have a bunch of A2 cards that you would like to pack away, but not too far away, just pretty on your shelf, far away, then I really recommend this album. Again, I will try to decode things and measurements for you down below. Also, I'm in the Card Makers Success Summit. I'm going to leave that linked below. I could really use y'all's support by clicking on that link. Here is everything I couldn't fit in the box. So guess what? There's going to be a part 2. I will show y'all all that later. Thanks so much for watching. Big love. Bye.